Everybody be cool. Be cool. It's about to go down. I'm just waiting on the bing. I'm waiting on the bing. I didn't bring my other phone and I didn't bring my tablet. I didn't bring my phone, either my tablet. Gee whiz. Four screens in the front. One, two, three, four. Uh Instagram. There we go. I was waiting on that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this installment of the 19 Report. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Yes, you see it. It's my gray hair. I usually cut it down low, but I'm going to let it grow out because my son got his and it's all laid down. Well, we have like wired hair, so it lays down. So I have, it's wiry. It just lays down like Caucasian hair. So I'm going to let it grow a little bit and see what it does because I got a bald spot in the top and I'm trying to see if hair will grow in that spot. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be a very, very important episode today. So I hope you all will stay tuned as this is part one of AI or artificial intelligence as it is described in biblical text, also as it is unfolding right in front of our eyes. This is part one. This is the prelude to get us ready for part two, which will probably be a little bit unbelievable, but you better believe it. We're broadcasting live on Facebook on the 19 Report, the Music Man, and on Jamil Salib Zamir. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube. You can go to YouTube at the 19 Report and you can actually subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe for a monthly fee of $3 or $5 or $15, and you will have access to a lot of the commentaries that I can't do live that have literally gotten me banned off of Facebook and other sites, but you will have access to those. On top of that, you'll be able to ask me questions about topics and I'll be able to answer those questions, as well as you will have some perks such as being one of the first ones to get our new shirt designs, our new clothing line designs, and you'll be the first to read some of we have 4 books on Amazon right now, 3 books on Amazon. I'm doing a 4th book, so you'll be able to have access to probably the first 3 or 4 chapters of those books for free by joining that page. So join up with us. We got a lot going on, man. We stay busy, and also we are on Instagram Live right now too as well. And most importantly, and not most importantly, but because Linked is a business network, the reason I wanted to broadcast so bad on Linked is because we are developing great business strategies, great business models, and we're focusing on business, but we're not focusing on the mind so much, and we're not focusing on the community so much. So we want to get into that today. I want to send my condolences out to. I'm not going to say anyone's name who may have been unfortunately murdered or died, but you may know who I'm talking about. But it got so complicated trying to help people find out more information about the death of their loved ones. It got so complicated trying to do days of remembrance and things like that, where people think you're trying to somehow get compensated off of the death of their loved ones, that I will not mention any names unless it's by accident. But I won't even promote any of that stuff anymore, God willing. It's just too stressful. And for some reason, people think, unfortunately, when they lose someone, that they're special. It's an unfortunate, awful thing, but people lose people. And it's and in losing someone, you want to take that loss and you want to develop programs and awareness, and you don't just want to keep coming back to that memory and wallowing in that memory. So it's so difficult to get people to see this is your child did not die for nothing. We can use this opportunity to build something. But when we start to use our children or our loved ones who died as a pawn or a tool to make ourselves look grandiose, I think that's the word. So I don't want anything else to do with that. But a young lady was married She lost her husband. She was a virgin at the time. That was the only man she knew. This is a true story. And then we're gonna get into the commentary. And he died, and she was alone since then because he was her first. She had children, and I guess with him not being present, they, instead of stepping up and being better men, better women, better children, they literally abused her. She was found in her home, dead, deceased in the bed, and it's being reported that she didn't have any heat. She didn't have a lot of food, but she worked all the time, but she had heart issues. And I'm telling you, people can die from a broken heart. So I send my condolences out to her spirit, and to all of those who loved and cared about her. Then the 72-year-old lady, I'm not going to call her name, it's in the paper, who was murdered in her home, and some young person took her car, killed her, didn't have to kill her, could have just taken the car, knock her out, tie her up. We have a bloodthirsty desire to prove that we are murderers, we are killers. So we're doing that. And this is happening in Clarendon County. This is happening in South Carolina. And according to what I read, the person was out on bail. Now, we have a serious issue with the justice system and the catch and release. You blame the police department, but it's not always their fault. They catch the criminal gets, according to the law, the criminal gets an opportunity to go up for bail. They get bail and they come out and start right where they left off. So some of these people are out here with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charges against them. They have not been to court yet, but they're still roaming up and down the streets. And in their minds, they're free. So we have an issue with the justice system. Then we have an issue with bail's bondsmen who put the money up for these people because most of them don't have any money. We're going to talk about that another time. But I wanted to ask God's mercy, God's blessings, God's grace on the two women that I mentioned of their situation. I ask God's protection on our communities, on the people who are trying to do the right thing, who are being literally forced into being afraid in their own homes and their own property from these young, misguided young people who think they get points for harassing older people. But I warn you that God is going to strengthen the older people, and you're about to get a fight on your hands that you're not expecting. And most of the time, young people, your death comes from people you don't expect because you're so confident in your illness, in your mental illness. You think that you can't die. Well, in the next few months, it's going to be proven by the hands of older people. Either they will stab you, shoot you, or beat you to death, one or the other, or by way of vehicular homicide. They will start running you all down because to raise children and have them to be as disrespectful as some of ours have become is unprecedented, with the exception of our community, the Black community. So today I want to start with AI, demon time. And I want to go directly into biblical scripture. It's not going to be preachy. We all know and should be aware of by now, because we have access to all types of knowledge now, that the Bible is a book that was translated out of its original tongue, that a lot of the information has been mistranslated, and some of it intentionally mistranslated. But the Bible itself, if you read it with the right intentions, it can help to develop a moral code of conduct that if we follow, it will get us closer in line to the proper understanding of our intent, of our purpose, of our reason for being here, same as purpose. So I want to go into John 16, 12, and 15 real quick. This is not going to take long tonight. John 16, 12 through 15. And I'm doing this for a reason. 12 says, I have yet many things to say unto you, Christ talking, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. And he will show you things to come. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine. This is Christ talking. But Christ is not saying he is God. He is saying, I am tethered onto something bigger than myself. And all things that my Father hath are mine. So since you are not worthy of being near the Father, I will be the conduit, the connection between you and God. And as long as you stay on the path, you can have that connection to God as well. So he says, shall show it, 15, all things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore said I, that he shall take of mine and shall show it unto you. I have yet many things to show you. In 2023, there is so much to talk about. There are so many signs, so many clues to the writing on the wall, the handwriting on the wall, as mentioned in scripture. Some of us are so caught up in the past that we take the book called Bible and we relate it to things of the past. So we cry for situations that we have no connection to. Scripture says, how can you love a God whom you've never seen and hate people that you see every day? That's clear. But we love Jesus, we love God, and yet we conspire against people that we see every day. Artificial intelligence, demon time. Why do we think that what we feel and what we think, although it is justifiable to us, why do we think that that is the way things are? Who is programming us to believe that everything we think is right? Now, I have 2 points from what I just read. Point number 1, Jesus knew that the people could not handle the complete truth. He knew it because of a statement he made in John 16, 5 through 11, same chapter, but this is up earlier. And listen to what he said, knowing that the people could not handle the truth. What I'm saying is this, to the elders who read the Bible a certain way and who it was fed to a certain way, you get a pass in your level of understanding. But to the young and to those who study more and to those who continuously feed the Bible to the people in such a reckless way and make them think that all things have been made, all the debts of life have been paid because of Christ, to those who do that, you're going to have to answer for that very soon. So let's look at John 16 and 5 through 11. We're coming to a point. As I always say in all of my commentaries, you got to stay to the end. Everything is relevant. Everything trickles down as one thing. As God gave it to me, I give it to you. That's why I write it down. I don't add in, nor do I try to take out. John 16 and 5 through 11. Listen to this. Jesus says, my first point, he knew that the people could not handle the complete truth. He knew it because of the statement he made in this. Number 5, but now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asked me, whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow has filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I not go away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. of sin, because they believe not on me, of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more, of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Jesus says, I know that you don't care about what I'm telling you. And the reason that I know you don't care is because I told you I was going, but you didn't even ask me where I'm going. We don't care to know what the truth is anymore. And this just didn't start today. This started in biblical time. This started because Christ said, I can see the future. I know that you are that you cannot bear what's ahead of you. So I can't even tell you. But one thing is for sure, if you don't start asking questions, and not only questions, but the right questions, God will come with his judgment. And his judgment will be against the prince of this world. So Jesus says, but now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you ask me, where am I going? So when I talk like this, y'all click off because you don't want to know the whole story. You just want to believe what you believe. That is artificial intelligence. And because we developed our reality from artificial intelligence, Satan utilized that quality in us, that we want to act like we know. And Satan says, since they want to act, since they want to be actors, I'll make the entire world Hollywood. So there was a time when you thought Greta Garbo and all of these people never aged because they had the makeup, they had the lashes, they had the hair, they always come on looking good. And it wasn't until you saw them dying that you realized, oh, they're dying. Today, our women, with all of these falsities, artificial eyes, artificial eyelash, artificial eyebrows, artificial face, artificial hair, artificial butt, artificial breasts, artificial fingers, artificial attitude, artificial mentality. Same thing with the men, just in a lesser way. Jesus said this was coming. And because you are rejecting what God has given you, then the opposite of God is devil, AI, demon time. This didn't just happen because these young boys started shooting. This happened since Adam and Eve, the example they gave you of rebellion, rebelled against God. We're going to go on. I hope you all are not mad at me because, you know, a young boy and I were joking today about how we get mad at people for trying to really study and know something. Don't want to guess at it, don't want to play around with it, want to study it. I made one point. Jesus knew that the people could not handle the complete truth. He knew it because of the statement that I read, John 6:16, 5, and 11. Now the second point. We're going to be quick today. Truth must come rather we want it, rather we accept it, or rather we reject it. It must come. And it will come in the form of frequency, or in the form of breath, or in the form of spirit. Spirit will manifest and reflect in human form. By the influence of our spirit, our moral code, or what we desire, is triggered. Whatever is going on inside of us must manifest itself outside of us. God created a heaven for these Adam and Eves. But because they were not satisfied, because they had questions that could have been answered had they asked, they went beyond the laws of God. Said, I made two trees, a tree of life, tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't touch the knowledge of good and evil because you got to learn now. And most of you will not come back from that learning process. You want to try fentanyl, go ahead. You're not coming back. Our people tried to crack. Our people tried to marijuana. Our people tried the cigarettes. And now we've lost millions of people. The Spirit is truth. The Spirit of truth is not coming, the Spirit is here. But this world is not built on truth. This world functions on lies. All of the people that we admire are liars, but they have learned how to hide the lie. In the Bible, it says that Adam and Eve covered themselves. And when questioned by God, she did it, I did it, I ain't doing it. You always deflecting, always looking for a way out. We become masterful liars. Artificial intelligence. This is going to go into digital in the next broadcast. And I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of artificial intelligence, what's coming and what its intention is. Because if you look today, you are seeing what we called back in the day Bob Dobalinas or doppelgangers. You're seeing the same person over and over with the lashes and the makeup. They do the nose and they broaden the nose, then they put it around here and they do the cheeks and they got the hair all the way down to the. You're seeing the same thing. It's going to become mundane. Believe it or not, young fellas, even booty going to become mundane, because if the girl behind is bigger and longer than her arm, she ain't washing her behind. I hate to be vulgar, but I'm just being honest. You just look at everything like it's beautiful when it's not. It's an illusion. And the behind is attached to a brain that is not functioning well because we are a malfunctioning people. If you wish to advance in this world, you must be a liar and comfortable with hiding truth, a believer in lies and one who desires lies. See, that's why young folks want to do dirt. So they want to baptize and inoculate everybody into their rule of no snitching on them, so they can do what they want when they want. Meanwhile, the outcome of their lies and their treachery and their deceit, we got to live it, but we not saying nothing about it. That's not the law of snitching and not snitching. That's the law of artificial intelligence, where you stay quiet and allow a lie to build into a whole world of liars. Remember, in the book of Genesis, Satan was represented as a snake. By the time we got to the book of Revelation, Satan was a dragon, because the lies continued. How the hell are you going to beat a dragon? You can't defeat the snake. We run from the little snake. We run from the rat and the cockroach and the spider. How are you going to beat a dragon? AI, artificial intelligence. We're talking about the lie. Not even a liar likes to be called a liar. You call a liar, he'll kill you. Anyone caught in a lie usually don't feel remorse for the lie, but angry toward the person who caught them in the lie. I had a situation today where I caught somebody in a lie and their voice started raising, and I said, you know what? I can't afford to get upset right now. Let it be what it is. It's what it is. It's done. It's not what it should be, but it's what it is. The Bible talks about it. Let's look at this. We're almost done. I had to go into biblical text because we're in the Bible Belt. And white folks think they know the book, and black folks think they know the book. But Jesus says there is much that I have to tell you that you cannot bear. But it's 2023, and you're still teaching the book the same way. So the children are rejecting religion, rejecting the church. Ain't nothing but old folks in the church. And if young folks in the church, you got them in there dancing and singing, trying to keep them amused, but they're not thinking about what church. They're playing the drums and the guitars and all that, but they're not thinking about what God really means. And you're not teaching it, most of you, because you cannot teach it. Because seminary school puts you into a line of teaching it this way or else. And anyone that teaches outside of that, you think of them as an enemy. I'm an enemy to most ministers. I've tried to work with most ministers here. But once they find out I don't believe the way they believe, oh no, you don't believe, oh, you don't. But a murderer could come to church and they're baptized. Homosexual could come, lesbian can come, somebody can curse the preacher out there, forgive them. But a person doing what you're doing, as Christ says in the Bible, if they're not against us, they're with us. What are you doing? I love the Bible. I love Christianity. But I know that it must be advanced in order to capture our children's proper understanding, to get them to understand God properly. So we're talking about the lie. And even a liar don't like to be called a liar. Check this out. John 8:4, 8:44, the King James Version of the Bible. We almost done. I had to come this way. Says, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and he is the father of lies. You know, they had the Tory Lane verdict come out today with the Megan Thee Stallion thing. I don't follow that stuff, but I glance at it a little bit because I know you all going to want to talk about it. Young boy that's down with Gucci Mane label, 22 years old. I don't know what happened, but he did. And somebody said, I was talking to the young boy today, we were doing some shirts, and I was explaining to him, man, hip hop's origin was in drugs and violence. The streets of the Bronx and Brooklyn, you couldn't go outside. They shoot up the park. The Supreme Team, Fat Cat, all these Fat Cat Nichols, all of these people were part of the financing process of hip hop music. The Apollo Theater was owned by Guy Fisher, big time hustler, big time drug dealer in Harlem. I said, all this is that you're seeing with these young folks dying is, as Malcolm said, chickens coming home to roost. God promised that the sins of the father will fall on the children. So all of us out there who are doing what we're doing and dying and leaving people confused. As I said with the young lady earlier who died because her husband died and she just died, you leave them confused. You leave them not able to deal with life because you lied to them the whole time, and now they are alone and they're trying to fend for themselves and they don't know how. Artificial intelligence. You think that the people who got money are the intelligent people. And only the people who have money are the intelligent people. But once you learn this system of wickedness, you can get anything you want from it. Depending on what level you are willing to go to get it, you can get anything you want from this system. You just got to follow the rules. You just got to be tested. You are talking about Hollywood and the rap industry and the Baphomet and all of these rituals. These same rituals are playing out on the streets of America, playing out in Clarendon County. You got to be a killer. You got to do this drug. You got to pledge this. You got to pledge your loyalty to blue. You got to pledge your loyalty to red. You got to pledge your loyalty to the hat turned to the right, hat turned to the left, hat turned to the back. It's all ritualistic activity. It's all choice. Artificial intelligence. It's going to get heavy. But I wanted to lay this basis out. Now let's go to Isaiah 38-10. We're almost done. A warning to a rebellious people, Isaiah 38-10 of the King James Bible. Now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. Write it and note it. Who's reading now? Nobody. Who's writing now? Nobody. If they're reading filth. If they're writing filth. How many people are really writing something of value that is not selfish, that can be a benefit to the next generation? That's what life is about. Making it more comfortable for the next generation, but not allowing them to freeload on the way. (38 through 10). 8. Now go, write it before them in a tablet, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people. Listen to this. Note it in a book now. Write it down so you remember what I'm telling you. That this is a rebellious people. Lying children. Children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, the preachers, the pastors, the evangelists, the prophets and prophetess, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. We don't want to hear what's right and what we don't want to hear it. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. You're going to get a car, you're going to get a house, your blessing is coming, the Lord is going to bless you. All I can hear is abundance. You're going to get abundance. And you talking to a person that just murdered his wife and child, and you praying God's gifts over. You're going to get, God is telling me, and God is telling me. No, your mind is telling you. See, we all connected to God. We're all God's children. This is true. But just as Adam and Eve broke away from God, we've done the same. And in breaking away from the true understanding of God, we become artificial. And in being opposite of God and artificial, you are a devil. And if you take your devilishment and press your devilishment against other people to make them believe what you believe, you are a demon. So the demonic mindset of the people is not just in these young folk. Demon time is in the church. Demon time is in politics. Demon time is in our business sector. Demon time is in our young old folks who act like they just love God so much, but their minds is constantly, no, don't tell that, don't say that, don't do that. You know what's happening. You know, and you don't address it. And you think out of the knowledge of what you know, because you hide it, it's going to die right there. Ignorance of what's happening is not a way out of it. The police will tell you ignorance of the law is no excuse. You're getting this ticket. So you in the church now telling the pastor, if you don't say what we want to hear, and I'm telling you churches are doing this. I'm telling you in politics, they're doing this. They feel as if though with their narcissistic mindset, not all, but they feel that they can just trick you into believing because you don't read, you don't study, you don't listen to nothing outside of what is considered normal. Now, in closing, deceit and lies become normalized to the point that truth will be a sin. We are at the point now where truth will be a sin. How you know that? How you know that, Jamil? What you talking? What did Jesus do? Why did he die? Because he told the truth. In a society of sinners, truth is a sin. Satan's job is to reverse everything and make this artificial world seem real. But the same artificial world that we worship, God is going to make it turn on us. And it's happening already. Everything that requires human thought is being replaced with algorithms. Because the human brain has been tested and tried and tortured and beaten and murdered, dissected, put back together. And they know you. For all of you hip hop heads, who's the best? They consider the best rapper of all times, Eminem. Look on the internet with all these white DJs now who figured out the algorithms to mixing and cutting and scratching and built machines that could do most of the work for them. That's artificial intelligence. Look at the computer. Look at the smartphone. And now AI has said, and I'm going to talk about that in the next broadcast, all you got to do is talk into a program, tell it what you want, and it'll paint a picture like a Picasso or Michelangelo. So now the artist is no longer needed. The photographer no longer need. I got a phone. I don't need no photographer. The graphic designer no longer needed. Pretty soon, those who are in cybersecurity would no longer be needed. They're tracking your algorithms. That's why your computer slows down. It's called keylogging. Every key, every stroke. Why do you think you can say something like milk? And then you go to Facebook and milk is one of the things on your Facebook feed. This is serious business. This is the Minority Report. You will be arrested for thought crimes. So you want it. You want to be artificial. You want the fakeness. God's going to give it to you. And your prayers will be null because your prayers are not for sincere relief. Your prayers are that you just get out of that particular situation. Now, we've been here before. Like I said, what you think Jesus was, what did he prophesy would come? The Spirit of truth. Jesus Christ was not animated. No bells, no whistles, no fancy trinkets, no big rims, no makeup, none of that. No toupees, nothing. Just Jesus. Not the white guy with the long hair. That ain't him. That might be the Jesus for white people. I ain't knocking that because everybody gets a messenger. Santa Claus is their man. That ain't our man. But we claim everything that belongs to somebody else. Artificial intelligence. And we make excuses. It ain't nothing but a holiday. It ain't. Okay. When you build up that energy in that you do that is wrong and contrary to God, that is what the entire book is warning us against. Now, I don't think I'm going to heaven. Because I still do some things that aren't. I'm going to drink some of this. I ain't gonna drink it. Yes, I am. This is lime water. I don't expect to be allowed into heaven, if there is one. But I believe that God is giving me heaven right now. He gave me extra life, so I take advantage of it. Because Jesus was just truthful, he was murdered. Now we're talking about artificial intelligence, and we're closing. An algorithm that can intertwine with our genetic makeup and influence us to lean towards our most selfish desires. That's what artificial intelligence is. It is Satan. It is the mindset of selfishness. It is the ego. And we thrive on our ability to make people believe what we say. Some of us can never let it go. That's why these young boys get together and when they feel they're being disrespected, they call all of them. So you can see this whole group of people coming at you. And we're the big group. You can't stop us. But somebody's bigger than them. They're programming a new normal, this world. It starts in the book of Genesis, that normal. Listen to what I'm saying before I close. Listen, Instagram, listen. Reason with this. The book says, let us reason together. Programming of a new normal. Listen to it. It started in the book of Genesis when Adam and Eve were exiled from the garden. You can call them whatever you want to call them. Of course, we know there were people here before Adam, before Eve. This is the black man's world. It's ours. But we had impediments. We're gods, but we had impediments and we destroyed ourselves. We're at the lowest point that we have ever been on this planet, but we did it. How do you go from a god to making rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes to selling drugs, to robbing, stealing, intimidating, beating, killing, shooting? How? How can someone break us down to this point? Jealousy, envy, tricks, lies. One wants to be the great one. You jump from friend to friend every day, every week, every weekend. Adam and Eve were exiled from the garden. The book says at the front of the garden, they put up cherubims with flaming swords. They would not be allowed back in until God said so or until they mended their ways. But God's mercy was this: I'll be around. And every now and then I'll send someone to tell you that you're going too far off the path. And if you show any signs of remorse, I'll help you. But the process of the exile of man from God's sight was to rid us of all of the negative, rebellious genetics that we had within us. And because we were so desiring of the world, we could not get back to God. So because we could not get back to God, we created a God. And that's why throughout biblical texts, it talks about golden calves and worshiping trees and worshiping animals and worshiping women and worshiping yourself. It warns against all of this. Don't sleep with the chicken. Don't sleep with the goat. Don't make engraven images, because we made things and we worship those things. And we began to believe our own thinking that since I'm praying to this pencil, this pen, and when I pray to this pen, what I asked for happened, this pen must be God. That's how we think. I turn around in 3 circles and then I write down my numbers for the lottery, and every time I turn around in 3 circles, I win. So eventually Adam and Eve created a new garden based upon the ideas of what they desired heaven to be. See, we want heaven, but we want to be able to have sex with same sex. We want to be able to smoke weed. We want to be able to murder, kill, and get away with it. We want to be able to lie, cheat, and steal. We want to be able to sell drugs. We want to be able to lie to the people about politics. We always wanted to be a big I and a little you. Somebody got to be under us. The whites want to be the best. The blacks think they're the best. The Chinese say, forget all of y'all. Everybody wants their piece of the pie. So everybody is creating their own heaven. And even blacks are creating heavens and exiling other blacks. So whatever our thoughts are that heaven is what we create, artificial intelligence. And each time those things will fail. I'm telling you what I know. Generation after generation had to carry the weight of rebellion and failure. And still, y'all, we producing children, more children. This an angel, this a, and by the time they 12, they're out in the street telling you to shut up, telling you, because we don't know how to raise them. I just told a young boy today, boy, y'all be slinging y'all thing. I'd be terrified to bring a child in a world like this. Terrified. But because we have a new normal, we think we got this thing down pat, but something is coming. I'm closing now. Let's check out Numbers 14 and 18. Check out what it says. Check out what it says now. The Lord is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, forgiving iniquities and transgressions, but he will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquities of the father on the children to the 3rd and the 4th generation. Now, a generation could be 80, 120 years. 3rd and 4th generations, the things that we do sinful will be on a child who didn't have nothing to do with it. And asking God, why is this happening to me? But nobody in that line tells them, you know, your daddy was a killer. Your daddy was a drug addict. Oh, your daddy was a good man. He was a good man. Don't say that about his daddy and hurt his feelings about his daddy. We're messing up, man. The pastors are meant, they're feeding you too much happy times. And they set up a system to where they can drive a Cadillac, a nice ride, talking to you out of the side of their necks about material things not mattering, but everything that they care about is material. They judge you. What do you do for a living? That's the judgment. Oh, he ain't nobody. He ain't got no money. He ain't nobody. Artificial intelligence. We getting into it. Why it's going to be so powerful and why it's going to, something that was made to be beneficial is going to dominate. Check out iRobot with Will Smith, and don't pay no attention to the robots. See the robots as human beings, or what used to be human, but are now robotic because all they do is what the world does. Put 10 women in a room, and all 10 of them will have on lashes, or 10 of them will have on a bunch of lipstick and makeup, or 10 of them will have too much hair, too much fingernails, G-string underwear, and tattoos. And if it's not that crowd, it's the arrogant bougie crowd who thinks because they become successful with a degree, they don't need nothing. So they strapping on a penis and having sex with each other when they could have had a man who got a real penis, but they're feeling the thrill of plastic. And they're getting orgasms from vibrators, artificial intelligence. It's not the way God designed it. You can get mad at me, that's fine. Just try to leave me alone, though. I'm frail and I'm old. You see my hair. Don't bother me. Now I'm gonna close with this book of Revelations, and then that's it. Thank everybody for listening. Again, we are on 5 different platforms, 6 maybe. I thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your comments, even the negative comments, because some of you are here just one thing I say and then you run with that, and that's unfortunate. Because when you put a negative frequency in something positive, you cause a disruption in it, like a power surge or a power outage, and you will be held accountable for that. God is making the action and the reaction swift now. Be careful. Revelations in closing, 21, King James Version of the Bible. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Now we're in the book of Revelations. If this is indeed the heaven and the earth, why would there have to be a new one? Why is it necessary at the end of the book, before everything is destroyed, before Babylon the Great falls? Why is it necessary to have a new one? If everybody is righteous and holy and pastor and minister and elder, why is it necessary that in the book of Revelations 21 it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Because the first one was a lie. The first one was artificial. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. See, in this world, there's death and there's tears and crying and sorrow and pain, but it says in the new world, won't be that. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. Why they gotta be new? Because the old things didn't work. And he said unto me, write, for these words are the true and faithful. Write it. Write it. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the foundation of the water of life freely. See, we're not talking life now. We're talking slavery, pain, sorrow, death, demon time. Act like you happy. Act like you know. Look like you at peace. Pretend that you feel well. And when you don't look good, hide yourself. But when you look good, when your children make A's and B's, put them on the internet. But when they're getting bad reports, don't put that on the internet. You telling all your family business. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, listen, the fearful, those who are afraid to go against the grain of this world, who whisper behind the door, who call me a rabble rouser, a troublemaker, who don't tell the children, yeah, you're a product of incest. Your brother and sister slept with each other. I'm not your mother, but I love you, and this is where we are fighting from in your mind. Your uncle raped you. Your aunt had sex with you. You are a product of a drug addict mother, drug addict father. No, everything just love, just lies. Listen what it says. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderer and whoremonger and sorcerer and idolater and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now, I told you up here, my second thing was that we were accustomed to lies. And the second death is when we begin to believe the lie. And we believe the lie today. And we will kill for the lie today. We're rotting from the inside out, period. The mind is eroded. And because humanity has failed for trillions of years, trillions, our time is up. And artificial intelligence will replace common sense. Artificial intelligence will replace creativity and humanity. Again, look at our women, plastic from head to toe. Men, plastic from head to toe. Thoughts, artificial. Emotions, artificial. Reality, artificial. A reality show is a lie. It is scripted and then presented to you, and you think that's how people act because they give it the title reality TV. We can only think what we are programmed to think. Rather educated or not, don't make a difference. There's some real crazy educated people, man. And everything they do is to build this world and keep this turning. But they'll never go against it. We will go deeper next time on this subject. I promise you, God willing. But in closing, this Matthew 6 and 24 of the King James Bible, and we're closing. No man can serve two masters now. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot serve God and mammon. The term mammon stems from the Greek word mammonos and is related to the root word appears in Hebrew or Latin or Aramaic. In short, mammon can be defined as earthly goods, property, riches. Mammon is the things of this world that can divert our attention and love from God to pleasure and comforts of earthly desires. You hear me? Artificial intelligence. The spirit of mammon has control over money. And the spirit of mammon has control over money in particular that is gained by evil means. So I talked earlier about not only is this evil in the movie and record industry, it's on our streets because we gain our money through evil means. And mammon, in the spirit of it, has control over that. I don't care how many Jesus pieces you wear around your neck. There is no God there. Only God damn. Anything that is damned by God is goddamn. That's what it meant back. Oh, God damn. Damn that thing. Not profanity until you make it that. The evil is there. Once the spirit gets hold of someone, it gives him an unnatural desire to get lots of money. So now we can't stop. We got to get more and more and more. In the end, the person dedicates their entire life seeking more money. Some are deceived to kill others just to get it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's why I brought up the young lady at 72 years old who was murdered. He didn't have to kill that woman. That was just a part of the evil in him. I got to catch this body. And for children who are killing their parents, you will go out, if somebody say something about your mama, you will beat them, you'll talk about my mama, you'll talk about my mama, but you go home and you treat your mama so bad, she ends up dying by herself. Thank y'all for listening. Next time, false gods, AI and demon time, all created by Satan for us, all allowed by the Satan of this world, and all allowed by us because we are becoming the new Satan. We don't want nothing to do with God. We just want to call his name. And we want to link all of the things we do and don't do to righteous. Well, I don't smoke, so I'm righteous. I don't drink, so I'm righteous. Yeah, but you gossip and you cheat and you lie and you steal. There is no perfection in this thing. But we are looking at people from the outside looking in and thinking that they're great, but they're not. They have flaws and impediments all the same. And until we begin to be honest with ourselves, honest with who we are, honest with what we are, God is going to back away and allow us to live this life that is of horror, and it will get worse. You have not seen nothing yet. There is no police department police come after the fact. Glad to have them, but they are after the fact. Ambulance, everything after the fact. For the first 20, 30 minutes, you got to handle it yourself. I'd rather handle it with knowing that God is with us. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Jamil Salim Zamir. Please like and share this. I cannot get from behind the algorithm wall unless you all get me from behind it. This has been the 19 Report with Jamil Salim Zamir.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone, solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.
Sing.